can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go.
Thank y'all for tuning back in to your favorite channel, Pelican Bay K9's giving it to you the way I always do. Fair and unbiased. Some gonna like it, man. Some ain't. Y'all hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. Don't forget to hit that like button. Go ahead and hit it. Matter of fact, right about now, and big salute and big shout out to all the brothers and sisters down in the chat right now. Big salute to all the dog men, dog lovers, and dog women across this world. You know, it's your boy PBK9's giving it to you fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. I got a great interview for y'all brothers and sisters for the day. Got my brother Low Man Kennels in the building. How's it going, big homie?
How's it going, big fella? And how's the rest of the world doing? Everybody watching this, salute to everybody out there.
Yes, sir. How your day going so far, man?
Oh man, you know it's well, I live in northeast, so it's wet, kind of cold up here, man. Real nasty. Yards is flooded. Dogs just ain't digging in that hole. They ain't having it.
Yeah, we got a wet day today down here. You know, down in the South Carolina, it's raining all day, but it ain't cold, but it's raining. It's been raining pretty much all day. I hate them muddy days, man. It seems like we can't get. I guess we'll get dried out in a few minutes because we'll be begging for some rain about May and June. But right now it's just been sluggish over the past, I'm gonna say, month or so. A lot of rain here. Yeah.
It's been raining down here for the past 2 or 3 days now, man. It looks like it's going to stop now, but I hope so, man, so I can get everything dried up, man, because my dogs can't stay and walk around in fucking muddy water. They hate that shit.
Yes, sir. And the thing about it, all that rain and the season that it is, man, the mosquitoes start coming out and they start getting bad, and your fleas and all that start coming out, and it's like that rain that rain make homes for every damn thing, seem like.
Yeah, that water, it seems like the water hits the ground and it draws all the nasty and impurities up out of the ground, man. And a lot of us need to go ahead and keep your dogs vaccinated this time of year because, like I said, all the parasites and disease and everything's coming up out of the ground right now, and it could cause your dogs to get sick and bad things happen to them. You know what I mean?
Yep. All right. Now, before we get deep off into this dog talk, I want to ask you one question, just to loosen it up a little bit. You watch boxing?
Yeah. I watch a little boxing here and there.
Who you think is
here
the
and there.
face?
Yeah.
Of, who you think is the face of boxing right now, Crawford or Haney?
Listen. I like Crawford. I like Crawford. I ain't gonna lie to you. I like the shit that he be talking to, but I like the it's a new guy coming out, man. He tall, skinny guy. I can't. I think Ben something, man. He real flashy and showy with it, man. That boy right there. I can't remember his name right now. Ben something, but he gonna show him something right now, man. You don't really hear too much about him, but you gotta check him out. I
I
can't
haven't,
remember his name, but he's a bad dude, man. But yeah,
I have to check him out. I have to check him out. Now you might be talking
check
about
him out, man. I'll send you over the link to him so you can check him out, man. He's a bad boy.
it ain't the dude that be dancing and all that shit, is it?
Yeah, man. I watched I checked
I
him out,
think his
man.
name. I think his name
I'm
Ben Whitaker. I think I
yeah,
want to say.
Ben Whitaker. That's him, man. I seen seen one of his highlights, man. Then I went back and watched a few of his fights, man. That boy, he's a real showman, man. He's
Hey,
fun, he's
crazy.
entertaining.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's very
entertaining.
entertaining, man.
He entertaining.
Very
I ain't gonna lie
entertaining.
about that. Yes, sir.
And he
Yes,
put
sir.
that work in too, man. He's nice with his hands too. He's real nice with it.
Oh, you start paying attention to the tactics, the entertainment tactics he doing. He be gonna knock you out.
Yeah. See that's the frustrating part. You know what I mean? You get frustrated with him, and then he
Mm-hmm.
get you right where he wants you at and beat you
Yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Now,
nice with it too, man. He's fast and he's slick.
yeah. Now,
But I think he's gonna,
what you
as far
said?
as the boxing go, I think as far as the boxing go, I think he gonna start showing out real soon.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know. It don't take but one
Yeah,
fight. It don't take but one or two fights for them boys to to jump into the limelight, and
that's all it takes. The right
not the
one.
right. Yep, not the right person out, and then you be the man they talking about for the next 6 months to a year or so until you get knocked out.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But yeah, man, let's get on to these
You're
dogs.
right.
Let's get on to these dogs. Let me ask you this right here, man. When you got in the game, did you have any? Oh, let me put it like this. Let me think. I'm not gonna even start right there. When you when you got in the game, did you have any mentors in the beginning?
Well, when I first started, when I got into the Bulldogs, I think I was about 16 or 17. Uh, for a long time, I'm gonna say till I was about 11 or 12. My grandfather, he kept a lot of coon dogs around, so we were always running dogs through the woods, chasing coon dogs at night. So, but my grandpa, he always kept a bulldog around. Always kept a bulldog. He would, even after something would happen to one of the other ones, he would go somewhere, go away, and we never knew where he was getting them from. But he would come back with old rough ass bulldog. And for a long time, I didn't like them damn bulldogs because they would run out and kick the shit out of my coon hounds, beat my rabbit dogs all up, and you know what I mean. For a long time, I didn't like them. So one day we are out hunting dogs, and the bulldog got off, and he followed us out in the woods, and we seen him go up the tree and grab hold of the coon,
Mm.
wear into him. I was about 16, and after that, I've been hooked ever since. Well,
So,
in my
so
in my area, man, it's where I live at. It's dog men are few and far between. A lot of them are hunting dogs. You know what I mean? Coon dogs, rabbit dogs, retrievers, and pointers like that. But there's a few notable men around here that I did have the opportunity to meet and learn a lot from as I was growing up and starting to become a dog man myself.
yeah, yeah. Now let me ask you this: what was the first dog you ever had? What kind of dog? What breed was that? Was it a bulldog, or I heard you say something about the coon dogs and stuff?
Yeah.
Um,
The first dog that I ever had that I could actually say was mine was old Saddleback. He was old swayback blue tick coon dog, and he was just the sorriest looking, funniest looking thing you ever seen in your life. But he was a bad son bitch. He'd run coons he'd run himself blind chasing coons. He was a bad motherfucker.
Man,
And
I always heard about the blue tick coon hounds back when I was a teenager. Are they blue or that's just the name of them?
I mean, some of them are actually blue. Some of them
Okay.
are actually blue. Some of them are white, and they got blue tick spots all over them. But yeah, some of them are actually the actual blue color.
Mm.
But they're rough, rough old dog. I've seen some pretty good walkers. coon hounds up here, and a couple big old fox hounds that they usually hunt coons with. But I like them blue ticks myself. It's always something that I've been fond of.
So them blue ticks, they don't really use them for hog hunting. They just use them for coons most of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, coons. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, coon. Because
okay,
we in my area we don't have hogs up here. We really don't have natural predators. I think the biggest thing we have here is foxes.
okay.
So yeah, so you get a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that use like the Irish wolfhounds. They use them to push deer through the woods and shit like that, or a lot of rabid dogs. A lot of pointers because a lot of bird hunting goes on up this way. A lot of retriever dogs and a lot of coon dogs.
Mm.
A lot of coon dogs. But where it's at right now, as far as coon hunting up here, it's very few and far between. You
Okay,
know
let
what I
me
mean?
ask you. Let me ask you this real quick while we talking about the coons, and it's gonna refer back to the pit bulls that we talked to as well. Uh, when it comes to the brothers with the coon dogs, do they really put a lot of emphasis on their dogs being in shape, or they just put emphasis on their dog being well conditioned as far as going out there every week, going out there and making sure they just can track a coon?
Well, you
Uh,
got to be. We first in the beginning, it's more or less. You got to get the dog to want to hunt the coon first.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Make sure he's on, and once you get him running, yeah, you got to. There's not. I'm not going to say there's a lot of conditioning that goes into it, but you keep the dog in good shape because he's going to be running. You could be in the woods from sundown to sun up. So back when like I said, back when I was doing it, we was young boys. We'd go snatch one off chain or take him right out the box and put him in the woods. But we'd do that 3 or 4 times a week in the summertime. So by the end of the summer, he was in great shape. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But but like at that time back then, we didn't really know too much about conditioning and prepping the dogs and all that. Pop would tell us, here, take this dog for a walk, and we'd take him, put him on a leash, and get him down back where nobody could see us, and just take him off the leash and let him run around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah, man. Them coon dogs, them brothers. I know brothers got to have them dogs in pretty decent shape, even if they don't condition them and all that and exercise them.
yeah,
Like you said, by
yeah,
the time you run out there 3 or 4 times a month and
yeah,
half a year, and man,
yeah.
your dog be
No, don't get
yeah,
it wrong now. Now, coon dog, he ain't got the pain threshold as a bulldog does, but coon dog, he's a
yeah,
tough motherfucker. He's a tough dumb bitch. You know what I mean? And some of them, like I said, some of them run 6, 8 hours, and they'll run all night long.
that,
I've seen dogs run themselves hot and go blind. I've seen dogs swim out in the middle of the pond and try chasing the coon, and coon sit out there and wait for him. I'm screaming like a girl trying to get this dog come back, come back, come back. And get
that,
out there and the coon grab him by his head and dunk him right underwater and sink him and drown him.
that. So
Yeah.
when you say granddaddy had bulldogs, was it a particular line that he started with?
Well, see, I never really asked too much. I knew he used to reference that he liked them old Colby dogs, and he always kept a bulldog or two around because well, we had dairy farms and shit like that, and he didn't have no problem with sending his. I say he's about 40, 45 pounds. He'd send a bulldog right out there, grab hold of that bull. His bull would have a ring in the nose, and if you can get your hand on that ring, you can take that bull everywhere you want. Well, the problem was getting your hand on that ring. So he'd send a bulldog out there, and the bulldog would grab him right by his face and pin him right to the ground. And you can go, once you go get the bulldog off of him, you can grab that ring and lead the bull anywhere you go. So,
That,
you know what I mean? 'Cause, like for a long time when I was a young boy, and we're talking late 70s, early 80s, and all late 70s, all through the 80s, into the 90s, uh, I've always known him as a bulldog. You know, I didn't know the difference between pit bull
yeah,
and English bulldog. You know what I mean? It was just a
yeah,
bulldog to me. So that's all you ever called him. So, but
yeah,
he kept some pretty. He'd only keep 1 or 2 of them around at a time, but they were some bad some bitches, man. They would beat the shit out of my fucking coon dogs and rabbit dogs. They just wear them out.
yeah. Seem like all the old school players, man, like that Kobe stuff was like the Nikes back in the days.
Yeah,
You probably want to get your hands on some of it if you was into the dogs during that them years or whatever, I guess.
yeah.
Um, I think, well, I bought a Kobe dog from a woman. It didn't have papers on it. She told me it was a Kobe dog or whatever, but it was a pretty good dog. Can't say nothing bad about it. But I just can't say I officially had a true dog directly from somebody from Mr. Kobe family or nothing like that. You
Yeah.
know, wish I could though. Wish I could. But yes, sir. Let's keep this thing going, man. Let's keep this thing going. What was the you know the line that was hot when you start realizing about the game?
When I really got into bulldogs, we're gonna say this was early '90s, mid '90s, and there was a dog man here, and I can mention him now because he's no longer active, and everything that I'm telling you is from years and years and years ago. He was known as Falcon Ray, and he was he matched into Gambler's Virgil with his champion Dingo dog,
Mm,
and he had a lot of really badass Jeep Rascal dogs and Jeep Red Boy dogs, and he introduced me to the Midnight Cowboy the first time I really got interested into the bulldogs, man, and they were really sleek and small and black and just like they were fast and hard biters and just very destructive, real destroyers. They were
mm.
badass, man. That was what I was really into.
And that was the
Then
Midnight Cowboy stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then as time went by, man, I got to digging around and I started meeting other dogmen from other different states and started exploring into different bloodlines as well too. But I really liked it in the beginning. I really liked that Midnight Cowboy stuff, man. And the boomerang stuff. Them shit was they were devastating. The ones that I seen in my area, because like I said, man, we didn't have very many dogmen up this way, but the ones that were here, they were hardcore.
Can you see any difference in the Midnight Cowboy dogs that you started off seeing and the ones that you may see nowadays? Do you see any difference in them, or do you see any really a lot of real resemblance in the ones that that you ran across back in them days?
Well, to be honest with you, man, and this goes for all bloodlines that I've seen throughout the years of just not even owning, but just me being around and seeing and other people's have a lot of the bloodlines that are out here now are really watered down. You know what I mean?
Mm,
A lot of people are they're breeding the pedigree before they're breeding the dog.
yeah.
You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying? You know what I mean? Like I've seen guys that they got a 5-month-old pup and they're talking about he's gonna be my stud of my yard, and man, I won't decide to breed a dog till he's 3-4 years old. You know, I grow up and show me what he's gonna be at and where his attitude is at and who he's gonna be before I decide to even think about putting him over a bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's turning into more of a money game now. You know,
Yeah.
it's more about who can put the prettiest paperwork together. Don't get me wrong, there's quite a few good working dogs that are still out here right now, and good kennels that are producing good working dogs. But man, a lot of the stuff that you see now, man, is so watered down and twisted up. It's like I said, man, it's pretty paperwork anymore. It's hard to find somebody, a stand up guy that's really actually knows what he's putting on the ground.
Yep, and that's my next question. Really, you kind of almost answered it for me, but I'm gonna still ask it again. What I was gonna say, and when you hear about all these old stories about the pets, how they was falsified from back in the days, I was gonna say, well, how do you feel about making a purchase 2024? If you had to go make a purchase today, from somebody.
All right, I'm gonna start that with this is how I feel about that. All right, we're gonna take Maurice Carver for instance.
Yeah,
Okay, Maurice Carver used to say, if it ain't got no Kobe, it ain't no bulldog. Well, anymore nowadays, if it ain't got no Carver in it, it ain't no fucking bulldog.
yeah, okay,
But now listen. Now, with that being said, now everybody knows if you paid attention to the Maurice Carver stories and the things that were said about him, everybody knows that Ironhead dog, he favored the hell out of that Ironhead dog. At the time, the Bully Sun dogs and the Eli dogs, they were throwing black dogs and brindle dogs. Now, if you take a close look at Honey Bunch dog, she's got that widow's peak just like the rest of them Ironhead dogs do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now, as she started to get bred, you didn't see very many black dogs come out of her because that's what that Eli strain heavy. They produced them heavy black dogs. Now she looks just like Ironhead. You know what I mean? But again, I wasn't there, so I wasn't there to say.
Mm-hmm.
Now, buying dogs today's in today's time, it's the same shit. You like, I mean, I feel as though that you gotta almost build a relationship and an understanding with the person that you're going to purchase your dogs from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not a breeder myself, and I don't like to breed my dogs, but when I do, I will let one or two of them go here and there. But I want to meet you. I want to know the type of person you are. I want to know the intentions you have for my dog. I want to know, you know what I mean? I want to know that he's not going to be locked in the backyard just so you can say, hey, I got a pit bull back here and he's crazy as fuck. And he's only crazy because you don't do nothing with him and he's just back there all the time by himself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know where my dogs are going. But a lot of people now with this paper game, man, you can hang papers on damn near anything. You can make up some shit now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Peds Online has made it so comfortable that people are just making up pedigrees out of just thin air.
Mm-hmm.
Thin air. Like I've read through pedigrees that had the dog that I was reading about its sire and dam, and then I look back through it 3 or 4 generations later, and this dog that I'm supposedly looking up his ped, he's in his own pedigree.
Damn.
You know what I mean? I've seen that.
Yep.
So you gotta.
Yep. They don't pay attention.
I feel as though if you're buying dogs today, man, you get to know your breeder. You know what I mean? Get to know him before you decide to commit to him. You know what I mean? Reach out to him, have conversations with him, talk to him. Just find out what type of person that you're dealing with. You know what I mean? If he's going to keep it straight with you, I mean, the snake's going to show his head every time. So you can't hide that shit.
What's an automatic red flag to let a brother know when somebody might be trying to play games with him?
Listen, they're going to badmouth other bloodlines of dogs. They're going to badmouth other kennels. They're going to tell you when you ask a question, like a lot of people when, and I've seen this myself, I've done this myself when I went to other yards, you know, I get excited and overwhelmed when I go to other yards and I see all these beautiful dogs and they're, you know what I mean? It's the excitement rush for me. Yeah. So as I'm asking questions, I'm asking these questions with a certain emotion where my excitement is high. So if I'm giving that to you, that energy to you, you already know if you say yes to me, I'm going to be even more excited. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you have to more or less keep yourself calm and under control and just pay attention to what's being said to you and ask the right questions. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You gotta, like I said, man, you got to get to know if you're buying a house pet and this is just something that see, that makes a big difference to me too. What are you going to do with my dog? Do you want to show him? Or are you going to have him as a working dog, or do you just want a house pet? Because my dogs are not good to be house pets. Because if you leave them unattended, they're going to tear your fucking house apart. You know, they're going to eat through walls. They're going to tear doors down, chew the molding off. So all that becomes into consideration when I'm letting the dog go off my yard. Yeah. So I would hope that somebody else would have the same, like the people that are coming to me. I would want them to be concerned with who I am and the type of person I am, and the way I take care of my dogs and my actual, you know what I mean, is my pedigrees and my paperwork, all that going to be straight and on the level. People, listen, man, it's a money game now, man. Motherfuckers will sell you anything. They'll sell you anything. Yep, you're right about that. And if you put that pedigree up there for a while and they got 5,000 views on it, you could have got that dog. You could have got that dog from the dog pound or something. Threw some papers on it. But when they look at that online ped, another thing with that online ped, another thing that it's easy way to kind of see something funny when you look at pedigrees. Okay, now say you got a brother who got a champion from say 2001. Okay, 2002. Okay. He got a champion from 2002. Now, if you just enter this champion in 2017, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say he's not an official champion. I'm not gonna say that. But what I'm saying is
if you had access, most people who got access to online pairs, they go ahead and enter their dogs in when they got them. You know, if I got them in 2002, I'm gonna enter them in the online database because I think that highly of them. And during that time, you wanted to enter your dog in anything you could get on the internet. Uh,
Right,
especially the more pre-internet, we start getting back into the 90s. Anytime you had a
right.
chance to enter some type of information with your dog on it on the computer, you probably would have did it. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's but you gotta also keep in mind back in those times there were some people that were really closed off. Like myself, I've
oh
had
yeah, oh
dogs
yeah,
for many years, and I didn't start using online page until I'm gonna say the past 2 or 3 years. And actually, um, a friend of mine is the one who put me onto it because, man, I'm like I said, my dogs are for me
yeah,
to enjoy. They're not for everybody. I
yeah.
don't care what anybody else. Do I have pets for my dogs? Yes, all 12 of them. Uh, uh, do I care what you think of me and my dogs? Fuck no. They're my
I feel,
dogs. They're
I
here for
feel you on
me
that.
and my
I feel you
enjoyment.
on that. Yeah, I feel you on that,
You know
brother.
what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
here for me. I like my dog. I have my dogs because they fit my preference.
You
You know
know
what I'm
what?
saying?
If a lot of people thought like that, man, everything will be a whole lot better. Like, okay, yeah, these my dogs, I like them. That's all that matters. No matter what you think
Yeah, I
about it
mean,
or what you say
right.
about it, I like them. That's all that matters, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they come down from a very good closed family of dogs. You know what I mean? My dogs are heavily bred on Carver stuff through Kenny McCoy and Jimmy McCoy's blood. That they and these guys were a closed yard they didn't breed very much, but when they did, they didn't sell any. They kept them all. They called everything. Uh, they kept it tight. You know what I mean? And I just happened a friend of mine. I'm really close friends to one of their relatives that he in more or less we'll say inherited their bloodline of dogs. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? Now
yeah.
he's as matter of fact he told I told him that I was doing this. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to know just in case I mentioned his name. His name is it's Rockland Kennels down in Tennessee. He's got some awesome heavy carver bred dogs coming down through the McCoy dogs, and they are badass, man. They're really badass, really good dogs, really athletic, strong. They're smart,
Oh
really
yeah.
good looking dogs.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: Can I get your top three male dogs of all time? And while kind of not no real long statement, but kind of why would you put them in your top three?
Okay. Wow.
You don't really got to get into detail or nothing, but just
Okay, listen. I don't know what order I could put them in because I'm really fond of these three dogs, and I couldn't really put them in order.
yeah, you
But
don't got to
one
put
of
them in
them
order.
is I like the Niggerino dog. I really like his from what I've I mean these dogs were before my time, but I've done some research on some of them.
Okay.
And from what I've been hearing, you know what I mean, from what I've heard other people before me talk about him, he was really fast. He was really strong. He was just an all around great dog. Um, I like wow. Um, there's another dog that you probably never heard of. He was you can look him up. He's on Peds Online now. But Rockland's Grand Champion Big Jacks. He was a devastating, bone crushing killer.
What
Awesome
line
dog.
was it?
Awesome dog.
What line was it coming down off of?
He come down out of the Carver stock.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, yeah, he come down out of some really heavy Carver bitch out of Carver's Boots and Boogie. And shit, my last one, and that's a fucking hard one. I'd have to say Midnight Cowboy, just because I've seen some of the dogs that were produced through him,
Yeah.
and yeah, they were devastating punishers, and man, they were just very athletic and very smart and easy to deal with and fucking badass dog, man, all the way around badass.
Damn. Damn. So I, from what I hear, from what I'm hearing so far, I'm talking to a Carver fan.
That man, I
I'm talking
I
about you.
like the Carver dog.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I like them carvers, even though you can't tell how they're bred, and there's a lot of it's bullshit and controversy behind them. But from the ones that I've always owned, and I've had a few red boy dogs, and I tell you, the red boys are fucking wild as shit, man. They're wild, wide open. I got one now that's he's 50% red boy on the bottom, and he's I'm lying. He's Jeep red boy on the bottom, and his top side is all the heavy McCoy's Carver stuff, and them red boy dogs, man, they're fucking wild, boy. They're wide open, 100 miles an hour, and a lot of them are hard keepers.
Yeah,
A lot of them are really hard. A lot of the ones that I've seen, and the few that I've actually owned myself, that came down through some red boy stuff, were really hard keepers, man. They were wide open. I've had I had one dog that was bred down through some bolio stuff one time that I got from a friend of mine, and I didn't really like him because he was really aggressive, and he was trying to bite the kids all the time and shit like that. But I've had most of my stuff have been the bully son stuff, the carver, heavy carver stuff. Those are they seem to be they I don't know, man, they're just tough, man. They're just big bone, heavy, solid, very athletic, really tough, strong, smart dogs. You got a hell of a bite on them.
I had a brother ask me about the bully son dogs last week. You probably had more dealings with a lot of the bully son stuff. You know, I'm not talking about the Jeep and stuff like that, because all that stuff come down off that stuff or whatever. But maybe you had more
Yeah.
dealings with some of the dogs that were more bully son bred back in them days. I heard a lot of people talking good about the bully son stuff. I just didn't have the stories to give to the brothers outside of stuff that I would read about the bully son dogs.
Well, I've seen some dogs that came down the line through a couple bully son dogs, and for the most part of them, like well, shit, my dogs got a little bit of that bully son stuff in them. They're rough, rugged. They're really hard biters, fast paced barnstormers. But man, after about 45 minutes to an hour, man, they start to get questionable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They start to get a little questionable, man. They it's like almost like their gas tank runs out, and some of them lose interest, or some of them are just quit, just for no reason. I had
Yeah.
one. I owned one time. He was heavy bred on the bully son stuff, and he was a bad son bitch, man. And this was in the late '90s, early 2000s, and he was a bad son bitch, man. I had him up here, and I rode him around up here quite a bit, and he beat up on quite a few dogs in my neighborhood, and so I took him down south, and he performed very well twice. And then I brought him back home, and me and a buddy of mine sitting around all drunked up, got a drink of beer, talking about who's got the baddest dog. So he brought his dog in the door, and I set him down, man, and he just in about 12 minutes, this motherfucker he wasn't hurt or wasn't in the way, you know what I mean? He wasn't in no harm's way. He was controlling the whole situation.
Yeah.
He was putting out just enough to stay out of harm's way and to control the situation. But once he seen the other dog start to get tired, he just sat down and just quit.
Ah.
He just sat down and just fucking in. And man, I had that dog for, I'm gonna say he's about old black dog. He's about 4 or 5 years old, man. And I just got rid of him instantly. As soon as I should have, I got him right the fuck out of my house. I couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it. He was heavily bred on the bullish and stuff. But man, you know what I mean? But that was just my experience with it. You know what I mean? Other people I've heard a lot of other stuff about it. A couple other guys tell me they've seen a couple go deep water. And a couple other guys tell me that they've had the same experience that I've had, or seen some shit where they just, after about 40, 45 minutes, and they just kind of gas out because they barnstorm and go so hard, they just lose everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Them type of dogs are really, they're really hard to condition, because you want to keep the power and the strength up, because you know they're going to do a lot of damage early. And if they can get them out of there quick, go ahead and get with it. But if you run into one of them tough old red boy bred dogs that can weather the storm, man, when he go take a second wind, and that red boy dog might have something for his ass if he can weather that storm.
Yeah. See, you know, like you was telling me how you came up with the dogs with your grandfather and stuff. A lot of brothers, you know, wasn't blessed enough to come up with somebody older, you know, in the dog game and stuff like that. So your knowledge on stuff at a younger age would have been higher on a higher level. Somebody might have been 25 years old, probably would have knew the things you knew at 14, 13, 14, 15 about the dogs, you know, because you was already around them, you know, your whole life. My question is, my my question is, when it comes to the breeding and your take on the breeding, how when it comes to how you started and now, is there anything you would do differently now?
Well,
Now, when it comes to when it comes to the breeding wise,
uh, honestly, probably not, because
like
even the
like is it
downsides of it,
like is it something
even
you
the downsides
would
of it was
add?
yeah, even even the downsides of it throughout the years have been a learning experience for me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's some things I wish I would have did differently, but if I could, no, I've been pretty lucky throughout the years. My grandpa, he, you know what I mean? I had like old man underneath of me, and he used to teach me all the time where the coon dogs. This was his philosophy. If that dog can't feed you, you don't feed it. If dog
yeah,
don't hunt coons or if dog won't hunt coons or rabbits, he'd shoot that son bitch in the ditch right there in the woods where we were at, and he'd leave it there.
yeah,
And he meant that from the bottom of his heart. So he said, if you're gonna feed it, if it's worth feeding, then it's worth breeding.
yes, sir. I
So
agree with him with
you know
that.
what I
Agree
mean?
with him with that.
And that's where he was at with it. If it can't you feed, if it can't feed you, you don't feed it. And if it's worth feeding, then it might be. Then it's probably worth breeding.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, but he wouldn't keep no half-ass shit. You know what I mean? And no matter what it was, even if his animals he had cows and sheep and chickens and ducks and shit. And if the motherfuckers end up lame or he didn't like them, he'd put them down instantly. He didn't play that shit.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, and I kind of, you know what I mean? I kind of stuck with that throughout the years. And I mean, I didn't grasp the malicious side of it, where we was I'd put dogs down. Dog didn't work for me, man. I'd get it fixed and I'd find somebody. You know what I mean? I'd get them to understand what kind of dog you got. Listen, it's a coon dog. So at nighttime, you might want to keep him in the house. He's gonna bark a lot, make a whole lot of fucking noise. Your neighbors are gonna lose their mind. You know what I mean? Or even some of the bulldogs that I've had throughout the years that it didn't work out for me, I would let people know. Listen, if you're going to take this dog, I'll fix him and everything, but you don't want to have no other pets. You know what I'm saying? And because I just couldn't. I knew guys like Kenny McCoy and them. They were dog didn't work out. They'd shoot him in the head 357, throw him in a barrel, and go get another one off chain and check another one out.
yeah. I know a lot of people like that.
You know what I mean? Like, but this was like back in the 70s and 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Who would you
yeah. I knew.
consider? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Now,
with you.
I was gonna say, who would you consider the top bitch of all time?
The top bitch of all time for his breeding.
In general, top bitch of all time.
Wow, man. You got to say Honey Bunch. You got to, because she was an all around producer and performer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, you could say Queen of Hearts. You could say Queen of Hearts because she was a bad bitch. Tornado was a bad bitch. But as far as their production record behind them, I mean, no, no, not at all. Because you don't hear about the dogs coming down off Tornado because she didn't produce worth a fuck.
yeah. You don't hear about none of them
You know what I
dogs.
mean? Yeah, you don't hear about them dogs no more. And the Queen of Hearts stuff, it got out a little bit. You know what I mean? But not very much. Um. Damn it, I'm trying to think of one of God damn it, I can't think of his fucking name right now. Uh God damn, now I'm sitting up here smoking. I got dumb in the brain, so I can't remember what the fuck I was trying to say.
You'll think about it whenever we off the show or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Man.
When as soon as it come back to me, man, I you know what I mean, I go right back into it. But yeah, but as far as all around producer and performer, I would say Honey Bunch. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
that's she's a bad bitch, man. I mean, what can you say about it?
yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. Now,
Yeah, she put some bad bitches on the ground.
I got a question for you right here. It might take you a few minutes to think on it. You might know instantly what you'll take. All right. Would you rather have Boogie Boy himself? I'm talking the one from overseas, Boogie Boy himself, or
Yeah.
or a double bred grandson off a buck, which is what I'm saying, a buck son and buck daughter bred back with each other, and you got a puppy off an STP buck. Would you rather have that puppy or Boogie Boy himself?
Uh,
And I mean, and let's say if it's Boogie Boy, it's gonna be while he young, so you got a lot of breedings left and stuff like that. It won't be the old Boogie, it'll be while he young, and you still got your breedings left, and you can make your money off of it. Or you can get a double bred grandson or daughter off a buck, and you know this is off buck. These dogs coming directly off
now
STP buck.
now if I'm going for if now see there's two stipulations behind that. Now if I'm going for a dog that I want with again, I gotta throw this in there because this is part of what's going on in the dog game today. If I got something up straight off a buck like that and it had them pretty paperwork and I was in for it for the preservation of the buck dogs himself, yeah.
Yeah.
But being me, man, bring Boogie Boy on over here. I'll take him. Bring me being me, bring him on, bring his old dusty ass on here. I'd like that motherfucker. He's a tough son of
Yeah.
a bitch, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Yeah, man. So tell me a little bit about the best dog you ever laid your hands on.
The best dog that I ever laid my hands on was
And I'm gonna say it don't necessarily have to be your dog. It could just be any dog that you.
no, it wasn't the best dog I ever laid my hands on wasn't my dog. It belonged to another man,
Yeah.
down in Tennessee. And his name was Champion Hemi Joe. And this dog, man, he was just it was just man, just him on his chain with no condition, man. Just you put your hands on him and this dog, it was like grabbing a cinder block. You know what I mean? He was just hard and solid and just all over.
Yeah.
He had that little tiny boxcar head with a nice snout so he can breathe good, but he had a lot of power in his head and in his fucking jaws. You could see it, and he was just real big, heavy bone, real thick bone. I think that was yeah, it's probably the baddest dog, man, that I can actually honestly say. And that should have been in the past over the past, I'm gonna say 11 to 12 years.
Oh man.
11 to 12 years. Before that, it was an old dog my grandfather had. He had this motherfucker for years, man. I think that dog died, and I was about 24, 25 years old. And he had a dog he called Fred. He called him old. He's old Colby dog. That's all we ever knew about him. But he was a bulldog, and he was bad son of a bitch, man. He was white, and he had red patches all over him, red nose, big old son of a bitch. He's about maybe 65 pounds, I guess.
And
But he
did
was
your
the
granddad
baddest bulldog I've seen.
did your granddad have one over there that he just said y'all stay away from that one? Not because he would bite, because that was like his pride and joy or
Oh
something.
man, he would everyone that he would have, man, him and his buddies would come down and they'd sit in the back barn and they'd get to drinking, and his buddies would bring their bulldogs over and bring their hunting dogs over because they would go out and hunt that night or whatever, and they'd get talking shit about dogs, and man, they'd put them motherfuckers on the ground at any given moment. And
Yeah.
me and my brother would be, you know what I mean? I remember doing this shit. I'm 12, 13 years old. Me and my brother are jumping out the back window from the farmhouse, and we're running down to the barn, peeking around the corner, and we're watching these dogs fight and shit.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't
You know what I
no,
mean?
it wasn't about the money. It was about
It
the
wasn't about the money, man.
bulldogs.
It was just, yeah, it was
Yep.
just a bunch of old men drinking beer, talking shit. And my dog's better than your dog. And well, go get that son of a bitch. And they fucking take that motherfucker back in the stall back there in the barn and put them down together, and they would just go at it.
Yep. See who got the better
Man, that
bulldog.
was yeah. And to us growing up, that was a normal thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was just my grandpop and his old ass friends out there in the barn drinking beer and doing whatever it is they do out there, fucking with their damn dogs.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's your thoughts on the Mexican Eli stuff? Since I see you like that Carver
Oh
stuff.
man, listen. I've seen one of them, man. I've seen one of them personally. I've seen him with my own two eyes. And this dog was the most devastating, destructive dog I've ever seen in my life. And this was just in his chain spot. He destroys metal bowls. He tears his dog box up, and he's 100 miles an hour. He wore a big path in his spot, and they took him out, and this motherfucker went and jumped on a hog, and this motherfucker just, man, he was just destroying it, man, destroying it. And he was reckless abandon, like full speed, 100 miles an hour, man. I was so just amazed at the power of him and how fast he moves and the strength of his jaw, and his teeth were probably about maybe 2.5 inches long. I've never seen nothing like it in my life.
Yeah.
Never seen one. I know a friend of mine that has one. He has two females that were bred down out of this Mexican Eli male, and he's about to put something together with them. And I think I might go ahead and grab a couple of those myself.
So
And,
when it comes to the dogs keeping the actual the look and the traits from the old dogs, you think the Carver dogs possess them, still capturing the trait of the old Carver stuff better than a lot of lines of dogs?
I mean, then again, it depends on where it comes from. You know what I mean? It depends on who the dog man is and how he acquired it or how it was bred and put together, because some people's standards aren't all the same.
So is it a line of the Carver dogs that you know for a fact that isn't throwing like the other certain Carver dogs?
That isn't?
Yeah, that isn't.
As what do you mean by isn't? That is
Well, like
putting them
let me
down,
see.
like,
Let me see, who I can compare them to. Like say with Jeep. We know Jeep threw some great dogs, and they say Charlie was a better dog than Jeep, but maybe Charlie didn't breed as much as Jeep, maybe. So that might not be a
yeah,
good example, but just know some of the Carver dogs that was maybe it maybe halfway decent, but they're not the ones to brag about. Like I always say, the Red Boy Jocko dogs, I think high on a lot of the yellow dogs,
yeah,
but
okay,
it's just certain ones of them, all of them not doing the same thing as far as the production wise and the breeding wise and the carrying the old school
right,
name,
okay,
carrying that old school name, saying they still doing it how they was doing it back in the 80s or the 70s or whatever, them particular.
yeah,
And he talk about Carver, so we got to go back a little further, back to the 70s and stuff like that. But I
yeah,
will say
exactly.
that Carver stuff, like you say, them big teeth and man, them dogs still bulldogs to the day.
Yeah,
A lot
man,
of that stuff.
they're tough, they're durable, they're big bone, really heavy, big bone, they're really big teeth, they're strong and really strong bite, man. But you got, like I said, man, it's where it's coming from. You got to know where you got to know where your dogs came from. If you know what I mean, if you're picking at a particular bloodline that you fancy yourself, you know what I mean. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
you like the yellow dogs.
Yeah.
So if let's just say, for example, you didn't have not one dog in your yard right now, and you fancy the yellow dogs, you are going to go and find the best breeder of the yellow dogs that you can find, that
Yep.
you can actually look at him and say to yourself, okay, he's a stand-up motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you are going to want to see what he's doing, and you're going to find the best that you can in order to get what you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know what
you're
I'm
right about
saying?
that. You're right about that. You're right about that, my brother.
I mean, so I mean, like I said, man, I'm not gonna take shots at nobody else's kennels, man. I'm just speaking from my, you know what I mean, from my point of view and what I've
Okay,
experienced, and you know what I mean,
now
what I've had the honor.
let's put it like this
Of.
then. Let's put it like this on another, because if it was one particular line of Carver dogs that you got to start your yard off with from ground zero, you know, what would you hopefully that dog would come down off of? Which Carver dogs would you hopefully come down off of? The
I would want it to come down off of the Stompanato stuff. I
yeah.
like Stompanato. Anything out of Black Shine.
Mm.
You know,
I heard a lot about that dog.
listen, I'm a big fan of the Ironhead stuff. I like Ironhead myself, and you can see if these dogs are really true bred from Carver's Yard, and you look at them, that Ironhead stuff, they got that funny looking widow's peak in the front, and they got a lot of them got a really funny build to them. You know what I mean? They're not confirmation type dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I need to close this window. I can probably hear my dog barking in the background. But um anything out of Carver's, Boots and Boogie. They come out of, I think Boots was Boots and Boogie, Boots and Boogie, Boots and Boogie. I think Boots came out of Black Shine and Iron Lady, and Iron Lady was double bred on Ironhead, and Boogie came out of, I want to say, Stompanato and Georgia Girl, I want to say.
Mm.
And that's where a lot of the McCoy stock originated from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back in I want to say late 70s into the early 80s and in mid 80s. But they were the McCoy dogs. They were already established before. Before that, he was dealt with the Hempel old family red nose like way years and years and years ago.
Oh, the Hempfield stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a dog with some Hempfield in the on the paper in the pedigree. I can't remember exactly what it was coming down off of, but it was I want to say it was a red nose dog. I want to say it was an old family red dog that I had, or coming down
Yeah.
off some of that stuff. It was pretty decent.
Yeah,
Now,
they produce some pretty good dogs. One that I know off the top of my head, and I've heard numerous stories about him from the man that owned him, God rest his soul, Jimmy McCoy. He's passed away now, and his cousin uh, um Carver's Big Boris. Hey man, he was like 65, 70 pounds, and at one time, now this is what was told to me through the family. You know what I mean? Because they're a really tight family. At one time, they had a dog that came down out of Big Boris that they were trying to get hooked in. This was right about the time when the Mayday was running around in the scene real heavy. Where
yeah,
they tried to get hooked. They tried to get hooked in the Mayday, but you know what I mean? These boys were just old backwood boys. They ain't have a whole bunch of money. And
yeah,
at the time, these guys wanted 20, 30, 40, $50,000 to match this dog. And they just, man, that was out of their reach. You know what I mean? They couldn't do it.
yeah.
But they were, they were old backwoods country hillbilly boys, had some badass bulldogs, and they'd match into anything.
So
Anything.
the McCoy guy that you were speaking about, you said his name was Jimmy McCoy. Is he from
Yeah.
the Midwest somewhere like that?
They're from out Tennessee area.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from out in Tennessee. And
Okay.
those dogs are still going strong. There's only one man that I know in the entire world that has dogs down out of their yard
Mm.
since you know what I mean? They've been private yard for forever, since the old man was alive. Jimmy's father, Kenny, passed it down to Jimmy, and Jimmy took it over, and then he passed it down to his nephew, and his nephew's had it for a few years now, and he's got some awesome shit, man, and he's willing to start letting a few dogs out now, but he's got some really good, very well bred dogs, man, and it's really good stuff. Really good stuff.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
know,
Big salute to all the brothers down in the chat, all the sisters down in the chat. Y'all don't forget to hit that like button. Y'all don't forget to tune in to the Samurai Kennel Digital Dog Show and vote for your dog, Mellow Yellow 005 and 011 for Brother Fletcher. Drop your votes in. Drop your votes in. It's your boy PBK9s. I'm in here with Low Man Kennels today. We got some good dog talk. Like I said, y'all don't forget to hit that like button. Go ahead and hit it now, and y'all sit back. While we give y'all that dog talk. The quick question, real quick, bro. What's your handle on Parvo when you ever ran across it? How did you handle it? As far as puppies wise,
how did I handle Parvo?
yeah, as far as with
Man,
puppies.
man, I had the last time I ran into it was a few years ago. I was using that dog food. It was recalled and everything. Anyway, man, it was like it gave almost everything in my yard symptoms of parvo. So what I did was I went, and if you can't get a hold of an IV to run fluids down into them, then like every couple hours, man, I would take a syringe and I would put electrolytes and shoot electrolytes down into them as much as I could, and until like right underneath their skin, and I would just keep pumping it into them until it would form up into a big knot, and it would be all the fluid that I just pumped into them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would let it calm down, man, and I would like I would give them like chicken broth to help digest and run it through. And just a little, I'd put a little bit of spinach in the bottom of it, just so it would have something in their stomach, just a little bit, not a whole lot of it. But
Okay.
man, the main part of it is you got to get the electrolytes back into them and keep fluid to them, because when they start to dehydrate, that's when they start to die, because it more or less it's like it collapses their stomach, and they just don't want anything. So once they start dehydrating it, man, it sucks everything right out of them. So you got to keep plenty of fluids with it. So if you're able to, if you can get an IV and get a solution bag and hang it up, get that in them ASAP, and then just, you know what I mean, after that you just gotta let the fluids do what they do. A friend of mine says he gives them ivermectin when it happened. I was kind of leery about that because I don't know how the medication would react with it, but I give ivermectin my dogs every 3 months. I give them a shot.
Yeah.
So it helps keep all that shit away. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, out of
But you
all
gotta
the,
keep.
oh, go
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Now,
You're right.
I would say out of all the years since been having dogs, I know it has been come to a time where you gotta raise one. Have you raised at least one with a bottle, or you had to raise him from an
Yeah,
orphan?
yeah. I've had to raise a whole litter. At one time, I had a female. Right after she gave birth, she died immediately, and there was 10 pups. 6 of them lived, but um, what I did was I was bottle feeding them every couple hours. I had my kids were here at the time. I had my sisters coming over every couple hours. We had to bottle feed them, and we had to take wet rags and keep wiping their butts and around their private parts so that they would relieve themselves just like the mother would. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, 4 of them had died because 2 of them had died after I had noticed that, holy shit, she's dead. Because I walked out of the room and I was like, all right, let me let her relax and take care of herself and get these puppies straight. And I walked out of the room. I came back a couple hours later. She was in there dead, and she was laying on 2 of them. But we saved 6. And at one time I got tired of it, man. When they got to the point where they had to get their eyes open and start to move around, I took a rubber glove and I washed it out real good, and I filled it up with mother's milk, and I poked holes in it, and I hung it over the side of a box, and I just sat there holding it, and they would suck on it like a nipple.
Mm.
Yeah, and then you know me, because with the glove you could get 4 or 5 of them at a time.
Yeah.
So I did that for a little while, and then as they got older, I would mix the mother's milk with soft food, and I would put just a little bit of like spinach or some greens in there for them, just to help you know what I mean, help them grow along the way. And as
Yeah.
they got about 5 or 6 weeks old, and then once they got some teeth in their mouth, man, they're good then.
Yeah. Now, what's your take on breeding a cold female?
You know, if it didn't start, it can't quit, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if it didn't start, it can't quit. So you can't call it a cur. It's not a quitter. It never started to quit. Now,
Yeah.
me myself, I breed you a cold female. I have a cold female that I'm think I'm going to put something over probably sometime around the end of the summer. But yeah, it's 50-50. You know what I'm saying? It's a crap shot. Any breeding you do, you're not going to say, you can't put a litter of pups on the ground and in a week tell me, oh, they're all fire, they're all killer. I don't give a damn what you said, what you think in your head. You know what I mean? That is not the case.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? As if she's got it, it could be in her, and she could pass it on to the next generation after her, and she could put some killers on the ground. There's several dogs throughout history that have produced some of the baddest dog. Pit General's mom was a cold bitch.
Now, do you feel the same way about a male? When a cold male, say your female is the one that's the badass,
But
and
if I breed a cold male to a female, that female better be, she's got to be hot to trot, man. She's got to be, bar none, like one of the baddest bitches around, because
why do you
the
think we
male,
do that? Why do you think we do that? Why do you think we give the male a harder time when it comes to his coldness compared to a female? And then it ain't just, it might not even be you. It could, it could be me or anybody. But
yeah.
we'll give the males a harder time because they cold.
Well,
And
I
you
think in
know,
my experience, or maybe it's just me being biased toward the male and the female dogs, but in my experience, I feel as though that a lot of the pups tend to take toward the male's recessive traits. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And if the female is got them in her, and they're really strong and wound up in her really good and really tight, then I think what's in the male that you're looking for, the female, I think she'll bring it out of him and make it a little more than what you're expecting.
yeah, yeah. I
You know what I
agree
mean?
with
But I mean, like I said, it's if it never started, it couldn't quit.
you. Yep,
You know what I'm saying? But
you're right
that's
about that.
just how I feel about it. A lot of people ain't like that. But I like, if you ask me about my dogs, and you know what I mean, I tell you, I don't give a fuck what you think of my dogs anyway. I love them. I think they're
Yeah.
badass.
Yes, sir. Now, have you ever been thinking one way about a dog, and then you seen a particular, or one way about a lion, and then you seen a particular dog that made you just change your mind about that lion?
Uh, I have seen
And maybe you thought the lion was shitty at first, and then you seen some shit off of it, and you're like, oh man,
yes,
that's pretty good.
sir. Yes, I can. Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah, I've seen that. Actually, I've seen it a couple times in my life, as to dealing with not just bulldogs, but all different types of dogs.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? All types of dogs. I've seen it in bulldogs. I've seen it in hunting dogs. I've seen it in retrievers. I've seen it in a lot of different dogs. And I'm looking at them like, oh, well, man, I don't know about this bullshit. And then I seen one that really performed, and I was, wow, that man, hey, can I get one of these? Or are they available? Or what's up with this dog? You want to sell this one? Or, you know what I mean?
yeah, mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've seen that, man. Not like I said, not in just bulldogs, but I've just working dogs. Period.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, you're gonna have that, man. I mean, like a lot of people, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So what I might like, you might not like. You know what I'm
yep,
saying?
yep. You're right about that.
You know what I mean?
You're right about that.
Everybody's got their own cup of tea. So that's why, man. That's why. See, that's one thing in the dog community, in the dog world, that we need, man. You can't have a biased dickhead opinion, man. You got to be open for opinions, because everybody has a different preference as to
Mm-hmm. Yep.
what kind of dog, you know what I mean? What they want out of their dog and what they're expecting from the dog. But
Mm-hmm.
you gotta see, but you gotta keep it in your mind. You gotta see what's in front of you, even if it's your own fucking dog. You know what I mean? You can't be one kennel blind to it. You got to see exactly what's in front of you. What's right in front of you is the fucking truth,
Yep.
and you can't get away from it. It's right. It's right in front of you.
Yep. You right about that.
You know what I mean? If it breaks your heart, so be it. It's a learning experience. Suck it up, Buttercup. Move on to the next one.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Now, has it ever been back in your days a line of dogs that intimidated you, had you intimidated before you be like, oh, I gotta watch these jokers here. You know,
But you know
you,
what? Yeah, and it wasn't a pit bull line. It was a line of fucking bullies.
mm,
Yeah, a buddy of mine had he was into them Camelot dogs when they first hit the scene back in the mid '90s and late '90s, and he had a yard full of them. And I'm you know what I mean, I've been around dogs all my life, so I didn't expect too much. But I got back there and I seen what was going on. These dogs were like very poorly bred. There was no temperament. There was no temperament thought put into these dogs as they were being bred. It was just uh this was blue and this was red. Let's breed these together, and you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
There was no quality behind anything that was going on. But he had a whole he had a shitload of. I'm not gonna put him out there, you know what I mean? Because I don't know if he's still out there doing this thing, and if he is, shout out to that man. But at that time, man, yeah, he had some really fucking horrible shit.
that, that,
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, they were very intimidating. And
that,
I had to get the hell out of there. I didn't like being over there at all, dealing with him at all.
yeah, yeah. Now, how many bad dogs do it take for you to say a line is not for you?
how many how many bad dogs does it take for me to say a lot? A lot is not.
A
Say it
lot.
again. Say that one more time.
How many bad
A lot.
dogs? How many bad dogs do it take? From a line, do you to say, "Oh, this line is not for me"? How many bad dogs you got to see out that particular line?
Oh well, probably one, and maybe somebody else's that got one from you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because most of the time, if I'm me myself personally, if I'm coming to get a dog from you, I want two. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because it's not the only thing. Roosters are born game. You know what I mean? The only thing about a rooster is can he fight? It's not will he fight. A rooster, any rooster in this world will take his death. Game dogs aren't programmed to be 100% game all the time. Every bulldog is not game.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So you got better if I come and I grab two dogs from you and I think they're solid and don't neither one of them work out, then I got to go. I got to go somewhere else. I'm not going to down talk you, or maybe the two that I got just didn't work for me. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
you know what I mean. But if I come in the scene as soon as I get there and you're just like overly hyping your dogs up, I'm not interested now. I don't give a fuck what you got. You could have something straight off Bolio himself. I'm not even. I don't even want to see it.
yeah,
I'm for real. I'm serious, man. I'm a laid back, simple kind of dude, man. I enjoy good bulldogs. I enjoy my good bulldog. I enjoy good bulldog people. And you know what I mean? But all that extra over wild hype, extra shit, man, that shit is too much for me.
I feel you on that. I
You
feel you
know,
on that. Now, do you think gameness can be judged in the woods hunting an animal, preferably a wild hog? Do you think a dog gameness can be judged while he's hunting a wild hog?
now, yeah, yes, and I'll tell you why I say that. Because, like I said, we don't have wild hogs here where I live at. I'm in the Northeast area. We don't have none of that shit. But I've had the opportunity over the past few years to go down in Georgia, Florida, and Louisiana and go actually hunt wild hogs. And I've actually been down in the swamps and actually seen what go when you're watching it from a video. It's one thing, but and my man, shout out to all the hog hunters. You dudes are some badass dudes, man, because they get down in them palmettos down in there, and there's fucking all kinds of snakes and all kinds of shit down in there. And these hogs are big, buddy. 175, 200-pound hog is a lot on a
Yeah.
45, 50-pound bulldog. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, and the bay dogs are there, but a lot of them won't even get involved. And you send that catch dog in there, and that pig's 150, 200 pounds. He's slinging that motherfucker around like he's an earring. You know what I mean? And this little tiny 45-pound dog, and he's slamming him and fucking, man. I've seen some pretty awesome shit that these pigs do to these dogs, and the dog weathers the storm. And he's as soon as they get him off, and he's ready to go back for the next one, man. He banged up, beat up, holes all through him. So I say, yeah, man, that's a pretty good test of game in the woods.
Yeah.
I would say it's pretty. I wouldn't say it's the ultimate test, but I would say that's a pretty good. That's the way you're going to try. I tell you what, man, a wild hog at about 100, 125 to 150 pounds, he's going to make a dog rethink his whole attitude.
Oh yeah. I agree with you on
He's
that.
going to make the average bulldog readjust his whole fucking attitude real quick.
Oh yeah, that's one of them questions. You have half the brothers agree with you, and then the other half would be saying, bulldog and the hog is two different things.
Yeah. Because a lot of people are stuck in that era when the box was a big thing, man. Like we have to, as a dog community, we got to find other ways for our dogs to release and express their athletic abilities, man. We have to steer away from that box mentality anymore, man, because it's bringing nothing but, like, people are going to jail every day for this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's crazy. And all it's doing is putting a bad stigma, and it's putting a bad curb and a bad taste for the pit bull dog, man, in everybody's mouth.
Yep.
You know?
Right about that, bro.
You got to, I mean, you're going to do what you're going to do with your dog regardless. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking you if you do, and I'm not knocking you if you don't. That's regardless. But, man, you got to keep a certain stature with these type of dogs, man, just because of the stigma that comes with them, you know?
Yep. Now, what's your take on blue pit bulls being one of the original one of the original colors? One of the original colors.
Oh, you would. Oh, okay. Listen, this is where we go. Oh, listen.
Do you think it was original color?
Listen, I'm gonna drop something on you real heavy. All right. Check this out. And this is proven. This is actual factuals, and you can look this shit up and check it out, because I got curious a few years back, man, where this blue color and these staffs were coming from.
Yeah.
Well, at one time there was the Ruffian Staffordshire Terriers. Now, they were heavily bred through Tudor's. I want to say Tudor's White Rock. Now, if you can, and that's where the blue influence in the Ruffian Staffordshire Terriers was coming from, through Tudor's White Rock. Okay. Now, way back in them times, man, they were using them blue paw terriers at one time, and they were breeding them into game dogs, but then they got away from them shits because they turned out to be bullshit. Well, some of that stuff stayed around. Now, how this white dog, Tudor's White Rock, how was he producing these blue dogs over in for the Ruffian Kennel? And this was in, like, I'm gonna say 1930s, I want to say. Yeah. But as far as and now, but that was they were already an established Amstaff bloodline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I said, a lot of the dogs was based off of Tudor's White Rock, and they were believing that this is where this blue color or this blue tint, like that was coming from. Well, that, as far as game dogs, that blue shit, nah, that's not happening, man. That's not a thing, bro. You might get seal. I've seen seal dogs where they've been, like, the seal was almost like a grayish color, but it's not blue. It's like a seal color, but it's very rare. But as far as the blue game dogs, bro, nah.
I feel the same way, but I wonder why. Because, like back in the 80s, the Rottweilers, the Dobermans, and the red-nosed pit bulls, popular. The blue, I know some people had blues or whatever. I just know, like, blue would have been a color, like a black would have been a dominant color once you start adding it to the program. I just wonder out of all the breedings that we did from 70s to that's in the 80s. Maybe the people start bringing the blues out too late. Maybe they waited to bring them out
No,
too late instead of
now see,
bringing them out.
they were already being bred, but they weren't very popularized. They were
Yeah,
just the Amstaff. Back then, everybody wanted the game dogs. Nobody wanted the Amstaff. So
yeah,
like
yeah,
the ruffian, there's a the ruffian bloodline, and there's another one. I can't quite remember what the other one was, but these were lines that were established in the 1920s and 1930s. But they were already winning AKC registry shows with their blue dogs. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But
yeah,
at the time, they nobody like nobody would at the time people that's what they wanted, the rough ass dogs. So like the pit bull was kind of like that dog. It wasn't bred the away from it. It stayed true to form. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Where they've taken these dogs that were at one time they were game dogs at one time, but we're talking fucking 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? At one
Yep,
time they did come down out of a line of game dogs, but they were bred away from the traditional American pit bull. They were looking for a certain standard or a certain style.
yeah,
Then they had, well, we got to show these dogs, so we got to breed the gameness and the aggression out of them. Well,
yeah.
we got to do like this, and we got to breed like we want bigger chest, and we want thicker legs, and we want a more box head, and we want to
Hmm.
taper in the ass end a little more, and you know what I mean.
Yep,
And
yep,
people started breeding them for preference. Now, if you walk around a good dog man's yard, you're going to see, and he's got 30, 40 dogs out there. And if he's been breeding one consecutive line of dogs, all of these dogs are going to be consistent. You know what I mean?
yep,
All of them are going to
yep.
be pretty much this. Now, you can see where his outcrosses are going to be coming in because he's going to start to have dogs that don't look like the rest of them in his yard. And some of them are going to be funny looking, like they're they're just going to be built funny. I've seen a red boy dog wound up bred, so it's probably the tightest red boy dog I've ever seen in the world. And it was so wound up so tight, it was literally 3 dogs long and half a dog tall.
Damn.
But it was bred so wound up tight. You know what I mean? Now
Yeah,
when you get in family breedings and you start to wind them up, wind them up, wind them up, not only do you start to lose certain abilities, but you also start like the physical, you start to get physical deformities out of them. You know what I'm saying?
yep, yep.
But it's I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot of shit.
You ever seen two cold dogs produce a true game dog?
I've never seen or heard of anybody breeding 2 cold dogs.
Hey,
Never in my life. Never in my life. I can honestly truly say that.
yeah.
Never.
I ain't never heard of it either, but I know they doing it
You know
out
what?
there.
That's something. That's something. You know what? Now I want to know that. So now I'm going to research that. And if me and you talk again, I'm going to have
Hey,
something for you.
I guarantee you, one of them famous dogs that we always talk about all the time, one of them, Mama and Daddy was cool.
Yeah.
I ain't sure which one
Yeah.
it is. I ain't sure which one it is, but I'm just saying one of them gotta be. One of them gotta come from a set of cool parents.
Shit. I knew of a gentleman one time. I'm not going to say his name. He had a badass dog. Uh, this dog won about 5 or 6 times. He was a bad son of a bitch, and he took him out one time, and this motherfucker quit. He quit early in about 30 minutes or something, 32 minutes or some shit like that. And he took the dog home and put him back on the chain and changed his name and bred him to everything in the yard. I swear to God.
I
I can't
believe
make
you.
this shit up. I can't make this shit up. And bred him to everything in his yard, bred him to every fucking thing in his yard, and sold all these pups at a crazy ass super high dollar price. And people
It
bought
might,
them up.
it might have been something he liked. He seen off of.
Yeah, well, what he did was he took the dog's little mate brother and swapped the papers on him, but he bred the piss out of this dog. See, it comes back to that. You know what I mean? That shit we were just talking about earlier
You,
about the breeding and the papers and shit.
oh yeah, yeah. You went out. You went out just now for about 10 seconds on me. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
All right, I'm back now. You got me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. I can hear you good.
Okay. But
No,
yeah,
what?
that shit comes back to that. Remember that shit we was talking about earlier with the breeding for papers and all that shit? Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
much what he was doing.
Yeah. Now, you ever had a deal with prolapse any
No,
with your
but
female?
I've seen it. I haven't had to deal with it personally myself, but I've seen it in some friends' dogs. And man, he was explaining to me how he has to put his gloves on, got to push it back up in them, and man, has to go through it. Man, I've never dealt with that myself.
Yeah.
I've had dogs that have prolapsed, but at the time when it was, I had the old man there, and he took care of all that shit. So
Yeah. 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 So, you got any tips, anything you can give any of the brothers and sisters out there about fleas? Because the summer about to get kicked off and them
listen,
fleas.
man, listen. This is what I do. This is what I do. Behind all my chain spots, I take a rototiller and I run around. If you're able to do this, do this. If you can't, put them in pots. Put them where your dogs can't reach them. You want to get lemongrass, and you want to get lavender, and plant it all around your dog spots. You have to keep the fleas and to keep the ticks out of your dog spots and to keep everything out of your yard. It helps keep the mosquitoes away. Take the lemongrass and put it in a big pot and put it right behind your dog box where the dog can't reach it. Put a couple of them back here. It helps keep the bugs off of them. As the weather starts to dry up, man, I like to go out and I rake out my whole yard and bathe all my dogs and I spray all my chain spots out. I bleach them all out and clean all my dog houses out and refresh. I change over from straw and I go to cedar because the cedar, the bugs don't like the cedar either.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But as far as like, man, it's just I tell you another thing I do too, man. This works pretty good. If you're keeping a dog on a chain, don't do it if you got dogs in the house and they run around together because if they chew on it, it could possibly kill your animal. But you ever seen those orange tags that they put in the cow's ear? It's
Oh
got the
yeah. Oh
number
yeah.
written on it.
I used to have a
Yeah,
couple on
those
my
right.
dogs a couple years back.
Yeah, yeah. I hook one in my dog's collar on while they're on the chain because that right there repels fleas, mosquitoes, flies, horse flies. That's what keeps the bugs off the cow's head.
I didn't know if it worked. I had a homeboy, one of my country homeboys. He told me about it, and I said, "Hell, gotta see if it worked." And I had all my
Yeah, listen.
dogs. I had all my dogs with them orange tags on them. I think they call them fly
Yeah,
tags or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I keep on all my dogs. And man, I swear about a buddy of mine put me on to him because man, he's got a yard full of dogs. And I asked him how often does he keep it? Does he fucking dip his dogs and treat them for fleas? And he said, man, I just changed. He said maybe once. He said once every 6 months. I said, well, and it amazed me because I treat mine every 60 days. You know what I mean? And
mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, how the hell? He said, and then he got to telling me about them tags, man. And I've been using them for years now. I ain't had fleas, ticks, none of that shit.
That's
None.
great. That's great. I'm glad you said that too, man. Because I had that. I had
Yeah,
them on some of my older dogs, and I kind of forgot about
yeah,
it until you said that just now. It kind of blew my mind. I ain't thought about it, but I'm
yeah,
about to get me some of them things because they did work. You know.
yeah,
Um.
yeah, man. Go. You got to change them every 8 months. You know what I mean? They're good for up to 8 months. But I'll just put it through, hook it through a loop on his collar where he can't reach it. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And after that, give him a good bath and cool, he's done. But every 8 months, you got to change them out. But that they work. They work really good.
Yeah. Now, have you seen like because I haven't seen it lately. Hot spots been popping up lately. Have you seen have to deal with any hot spots on dogs lately?
Uh,
Most
Not really.
I haven't seen it too
Um,
much lately.
Nah, not really. I haven't really seen it much lately. Not at all. But for that, I tell you what I what I would do for that. I used to get it in some of my dogs, but my old man put me on to this. Put sardines 2 to 3 times a week. Put sardines in their food, and the fish oil helps their skin and get all the chicken out of their diet because the anything with chicken base in it, if you can get away from chicken, get away from chicken because the growth hormones that they give to the chicken. Listen, I live around the chicken farms up north, and there ain't
Yeah.
nothing up here but chicken farms, and they'll fill them up. They'll put 50,000 baby chickens in there, and they'll grow it to a full grown chicken in 6 weeks. You know what I mean? But the growth hormones that Yeah, for real. This ain't no bullshit, man. But the growth hormones that they put into the chickens for them to grow like that, man, it affects the dogs. It affects their digestive system, their intestines. It fucks up the skin. It's not really good for them. So if you can get away from chicken based products and dog foods and shit like that, get away from. Go with beef, and like a lamb and rice formula if you can, or something like that.
Yeah. What kind of dog food you like to stick using, or even if you don't use it all the
Well, I've
time?
been I've been using here lately. I've been using this stuff. It's called For Health.
Yeah,
It's a
I know you
really,
talk about. Yep, I know you
you
talk
know what
about.
I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I use the For Health Performance. It comes in the blue bag. It's got a Weimaraner on the bag. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I never used it, but I see it on the shelf when I walk past it. But I know I see. We
Yeah,
got that for health down here, and Tractor Supply down Tractor Supply. We got it. Yep.
yeah. That's where I get it from. But you don't have to give them a lot. You know what I mean? It keeps them good and healthy and fit. You don't have to give them great big 3 or 4 big scoops of it. You know what I mean? You give them I give them a cupful, and like I said, I'll add a little bit of every once in a while. I open a can of pumpkins. I throw some pumpkins in there, or I always add something to it, some greens, or like I said, the sardines. But I give them that, man, and it keeps them fit, man. It keeps them really good and fit. In summertime or the wintertime, I give them a cup and a half, and it blows them up, puts that winter weight on them real quick, real fast.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's really good, man, and they use a lot of it, so there's not a lot of waste. You know what I mean? They're not shitting all over the place 3 or 4 times a day. I think they might go maybe once or twice a day. And it's good, stays good solid stools. Keeps them healthy.
Okay. Now, what do you feel like is the most underrated line of dogs that you ever ran across?
Hmm. Most underrated line of dogs that I've ever ran across.
Or you may hear a lot of people talking bad about it, but you'll add some of that into your program.
You know what, man? And I don't care how you judge me for this, but Tom Garner, he's overrated. But man, he's so overrated. Nobody looks at him. Like, no, everybody's like, oh, he's overrated. We don't want nothing from him. Da, da, da. I mean, man, Tom has got a hell of a program going on down there.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? If you can schedule a visit to go in there and see, and this goes out to all the dog man, listen, if you're a fan of the American Pit Bull Terrier, you need to go see what he's got going on
yeah,
for real. Because Tom, you know what I mean? Tom is so hyped up that nobody wants to fuck with him. They're more or less like they put him in a category by himself. You know what I mean? A lot of people do,
yeah.
which, you know what I mean? But he's got some shit going on down there, man. If I could breed to any dog man in right now, it would probably be him.
Okay. Yeah, I think
I'm not gonna lie.
I think he do some good breeding, and like you said, if any brother who can visit his kennel and check,
Listen, if
just
you can
stroll
get
through
down
there.
there and
Yeah,
yeah, man, and just listen to him talk, man, and he's really smart, dude. He's really articulate, so you got to be on your p's and q's and know, you know what I mean, know what you're talking about when you're talking to it.
yeah,
He's really
yeah,
smart. But yeah, man, if I could breed with to any of them, it would be him. And I think I would say that he's underrated because like he's so popularized. Nobody really wants Garner dogs, to be honest with you. So that puts him, you know what I mean, in certain classes. It puts him like, nah, we ain't fucking with his dogs. You got a bunch of bullshit. I've
yeah.
heard a lot of people say it. I've heard so many people say that they hate on Tom Garner, hate on him, hate on him, hate on him. As far as him as a person, I don't really know him, but as far as his dogs, man, I've seen some phenomenal shit come out of there.
I ain't gonna lie. The last one I put my hands on was a few years back, and that was off of I want to say it was off of Kuma, and that dog was a
Yeah,
beast. That dog was a beast. He was. I ain't gonna lie. I just think I ended up getting rid of him, but yeah, he was a beast. He had a perfect physique. He was he run on the chain every 5 seconds. He's running around. He didn't really turn over his water bucket and stuff like that. So he was kind of good on that, but he would get hyped up and he'd do a lot of, once he get hyped up, he back and forth on that chain. And then he had a perfect shaped body, and you know them Ghana dogs have big teeth, and his teeth was nice and long, and his snout was nice and long, and you know, he was kind of big. He had a good sized body.
There is another guy, but I'm not at liberty to give his information out. You know what I mean? Because I haven't talked to him to ask him how he would feel about it. But he's got a line of these Macho Buck 28 dogs.
Mm.
You know what I mean? There's a gentleman that I know that's got some dogs off of that dog that is like they're the best kept secret right now. That I think anyway.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean he's not.
People like that Macho Buck stuff.
He's not known, but you know what I mean? He's known.
Oh yeah. Now let me ask you this. Can you remember the hardest working dog you ever had? When I say hardest working, you know, far as his treadmill, flirt pole, or walk, yard, you know, run or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. I own him this day, right now. I've never had a little dog. I own a little dog. He is he's Jeep Jocko Red Boy on the bottom, and on the top he's shitload of carver stuff. And I've never had a little dog work so hard in his life. I've never in my life. He's only 31 pounds, and he's got a 16-pound bowling ball in his chain spot, and he pushes this thing around all day at full speed, and I can take him right off of there, stick him on a treadmill, and he'll run an hour straight and take him off of there and ride with him next to a bike, and he'll run 3-4 miles straight, and I can take him right off of that and put him on a spring pole, and he just nonstop. This dog has worked himself so hard. And this was bad for me to doing this, and I don't suggest nobody doing this shit. I got curious one day. I got drinking all beer shit just to see how hard this little dog would work one summer, and I worked him so hard that he passed out.
Yeah.
The little dog passed out, and I brought him back too. And as soon as he got back and got his bearings back, he jumped back out of his feet and he took off out of my hands and he shot across the yard and went right back to work again. I said, God damn, this little son of a bitch. Yeah. I've never seen a little dog with so much the joy to want to work. The intensity is just amazing.
Yeah. When you get one like that, now that's a good feeling when you got one that just like to work all the time. You know, you can get him right or her right. You know.
Yeah.
Nothing like having one that won't work. Having got one that just won't do shit.
Now, see, I have one right now that all she'll do is walk and she'll follow me on the bicycle. Other than that, she won't do nothing.
Yeah.
Like she won't run on the mill. She won't do no spring pole work. She'll chase a flirt pole. But other than that, she won't do nothing at all.
Now back in the 80s, you think you could take that one if she was pretty hot? You could take her. Would you have confidence knowing that you couldn't do all the workouts with her? But you can, she was a pretty good dog. But she'll run the bike.
Yeah. But at that time, you know what I mean? I was a younger man and I played sports in school and I was really athletic and fit. So I didn't have no problem with running the dogs and riding a bike with them or whatever their preference was. You know what I mean? I didn't have no problem with it at that time. So at that time, she could. Yeah.
That's one of the main things that I done figured that shit out a couple years back. Back when we was 19, 18, 20, 21, man, it wasn't nothing to jump on a bike and ride like that. But it's a whole different story right about now, buddy.
Yeah. Now I'll give her 2 or 3 rides around the block right now. And after that, I gotta get one of my sons to do that shit for me now. Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, man. But then I feel like this, man. When you're working, when you're conditioning a dog, man, I think it should be if you have a mill and you can use it, and you're in an area where you have to use it. You know what I mean? I know everybody doesn't have open fields and free range to work the dogs. Like I have a dog that we do. I came up with an exercise. I call it the tennis ball relay. Well,
Yeah.
I throw one tennis ball as far as I can, and she'll run like a bullet to get it and run like a bullet to bring it back. Well,
Yep.
on her way back, as she's getting right next to me, I throw the next one. So she drops that one and immediately spins and turns around. And we'll do this for 25 minutes. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So, but everybody doesn't have that open space to do it. So if you have a treadmill, you use it. All right, that's cool. But when you're doing like actually working with the dog, and you're actually working with the dog, and the dog sees that you're sweating just as much as she's panting, you know what I mean? You're building a bond, a relationship with that dog, showing that dog that you're willing to work with that dog just as hard as that dog is willing to work. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and this is just my personal opinion. You know what I mean? And from my personal experience, because some people they don't have. To some people, a dog is just a tool. You know what I mean? It's a machine.
Yep.
So they don't. There's really no care behind the dog. But when the dog, you get that connection with an animal, and you're bonded through everything. You know what I mean? Through the whole situation, that dog is going to give you all it's got and then some. You know what I mean? Just because it's doing it for you, and you and that dog are willing to work together as one, and that builds a lot of bond and a lot of strength between you and your dog itself. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yep. You're right. You're right
Not
about
only
that.
that, man. Not only that, some of you dudes need to get the fuck off the couch and out of the YouTube and go walk your dogs. Take them out. You know what I mean?
Hey,
No,
yeah.
listen, hey, listen, man. And this is no bullshit. And I'm a roofer. That's what I do for a living. And I leave from my house every day at 6 o'clock every morning. So every morning when I get up, I give each one of my take. I have 3 dogs in my yard right now, and I have 4 more at my son has 4 more that we take care of. So every morning we get up and we walk each dog for a half an hour every morning, and come home, put them up, boom, I take off, go to work. When I come back and from work, each dog gets another half hour work again, depending on the time of day. You know what I mean? But usually I'm stay pretty frequent with it, man. I'm old head now, so I ain't out chasing the women and all in the clubs and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but man, you gotta just that right there, that bond. You gotta do something with your dog. Stay active with your dog. The more time you spend in with him, and the more you give to him, the more he's gonna give you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Your dog he'll never lie to you. He'll never steal from you. He'll never tell you secrets. And you can beat him to within an inch of his life, and he'll always walk through the hellfires for you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So what you put in him is what he's gonna give out to you.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to gameness or mouth, which one is a deal breaker for you? Back
I
then.
got I got to take I got to take gameness. I got to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to, man, because I've seen many years ago, we're talking mid '90s, almost into 2000. I've seen some terrible wrecking hard mouth dogs just wreck a dog out for maybe an hour some change, and just run out of gas, and the game just prevailed on the other side. You know what I mean? That dog was wrecked out, but it took one leg with his guts hanging out and pushed itself across, and still made a game scratch. And actually, the record just stood the line. He didn't want to do it no more.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Don't
I
do
always,
it.
always been
Yeah,
a game. Always been a game man. I never really. I mean, we all cared about mouth and all that, but I had to have that
yeah.
games. You know.
See, my thing, like, if I had to put them in order, it would be gameness, intelligence, durability, and then mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
You know what I mean?
a smart dog can get a long way if he figure
Yeah,
out how to maneuver himself in certain situations.
yeah. Yes. Now, if he gets himself in a bad spot and he knows it, he's got to have the durability to withstand the storm in order to put that gameness to use. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right about that. Right about that, bro. Hey man, I ain't gonna hold you here too long, man. I appreciate everything. Great interview tonight. Big salute to my brothers and sisters down in the chat. Anything you want to leave the brothers or sisters with tonight before you get up out of here, my brother?
Oh man, just stay true to your dogs. Stay true to you. Everything you got going on with your dogs, man. Stay sucker free and believe what you see in front of you. That's all I can tell you.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, I can't do nothing but agree
Um,
with that, man. Can't do nothing but agree with that.
and
Y'all
yo, I
heard?
like to give a shout out. Give a
Go ahead,
shout
go
out to
ahead.
my man over at Rockland Kennels, and holla at your boy. You know what I mean? Y'all look him up, man. You got some of the baddest dogs on the planet right now. Trying to tell y'all, check him out. Check out the man. He's down in Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
He got
Big
what you
shout
want,
out.
what you need.
Yes, sir. Big shout out to Rockland Kennels. Big shout out. Big shout out to Samurai Kennel Digital Dog Show. Like I told y'all brothers, y'all go vote. You know, vote. I want to say it's in the next day or so. So y'all check that brother channel out. Samurai Kennels. If you haven't subscribed to his YouTube channel, go subscribe to that brother channel. That's the only way you're gonna know when he drop the videos for the voting and do all the voting and stuff like that. So, like I said, Mellow Yellow is uh damn 055. And hey, I tell y'all what, I ain't gonna give y'all the number right now because I don't want to give y'all the wrong number. But I tell y'all what, y'all done seen Mellow Yellow enough. Y'all know how she look. Y'all know how she look when y'all see her. You know, so
Hey,
y'all
listen,
go.
man. After this is over, I want you to give me that information, man. I got some dogs I like to put in that shit. You know.
Oh yeah. Now this particular show right here ended
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
31st
it
of
ended.
March.
Okay. Okay.
On the 31st
Okay.
of March
Okay.
was the last day to
Well,
the end on that. But
all right. Well, you
but
gotta put me down. Let me know. You know what I mean when it go down again.
yeah, I think he because normally he do them twice a year, but I think he just said the other day that he gonna do them. He gonna do another one probably in the next few weeks or next month or so. Next couple, he gonna do it probably instead of doing 2 a year, 4 a year maybe or 6 a year or something like that. But it's gonna be a whole lot more recent, and I definitely keep you intact with it. You know, but yeah, man, y'all, all y'all brothers, man, there's gonna be some great brothers and sisters that put dogs in the show. So y'all go vote for the dogs y'all like. Um, and just keep doing y'all things out there with them dogs, man, on the right and legitimate way. And understand, we ain't the same, man. They don't. Hey, like I said before, um, some things we gonna go through, the average person ain't gonna go through. All some dog men got it, some folk don't, you know. But the ones who do got it, you go through a little more sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But it just is what it is, man. Y'all stay safe out there. Pelican Bay Canines, and I'm out.